What is going on, world, over here in Ochalata, Oklahoma? And I probably pronounced that wrong and I could have looked, but whatever. Hope y'all are doing good. I've been trying to think of a way, because I sit there and I say no excuses, you're right, you gotta change yourself. That isn't the only option. Believe it or not, and I've only worked at one of these companies, everywhere else I've worked, I actually had to go in and do work. And so did everybody around me had to do work, right? You got paid for a reason, and that was produce whatever it is you did. There are companies out there that you can go in and do the bare minimum and fly below the radar. Do I think it's a good thing? No. I think it hurts a company as a whole when you allow some people to not do jack shit and then expect others to do a million different things. But I feel like there's a good story because this man, and I've never, right, there's people who come in and do the bare minimum, then there's people who come in and don't do shit. And this is the story of a man who came in and didn't do jack shit. And it was all good in upper management's eyes. So that is a possibility. So you could always land one of those jobs. So I'll begin to tell you that story now. The man's name was Randy, and as a human being, have no issues with this man. If he happens to see this, Randy, I hope you're doing good. And I'd actually love to see you one day. But when it came to work ethic, this man had none. And when I mean none, I mean absolutely none. So back in an old company, I was maintenance. Mop floors, clean trash cans, did electrical. They needed a wall tore down, I'd tear down a wall. Sir, yes sir, jump how high, shit what color type deal, right? No issues at all. Well, I did that for a little bit and they decided to move me up to production. So I was getting a replacement. And I remember, boy, I was excited. Right? I'd get to teach somebody else. I'd get to watch somebody else come up from the ground up. Happier than hell that opportunity was going to be provided to somebody else. I think he was an older gentleman. He was like 53, whatnot. And his job was to clean trash cans, sweep the floors, and then empty out the scrap barrels from the machinist. We had machinists that would spin steel. And I remember he would come in and everything was fine. He clearly wasn't a go-getter. We all saw that from the beginning. But after a short amount of time, and eventually we started noticing, where's Randy? Right? Where is Randy? Well, we ended up finding out where Randy was. We had an upstairs with all the every little extra part you needed, spare light bulbs, trash bags, everything like that, upstairs. Randy would come in, change a few trash cans, and then proceed to go upstairs and sleep. This wasn't a secret. He wasn't hiding it whatsoever. Everyone knew where it was the running joke. Where is Randy? Upstairs sleeping. That man got paid $10 an hour to come into work, do 10 minutes of work, and go upstairs and sleep. And I can't even be mad at him, honestly, because if you can do that, I would love to get a job where I could go get paid to take naps. Could you imagine that? And that'd be okay, right? I can't blame Randy. I can't blame the manager on the floor. We all thought it was bullshit. I can lay that squarely on the feet of management in the office, because their excuse to me and probably to other people, well, Tiptoe, he only makes $10 an hour. Right? So for about a year, that man would go upstairs and sleep. And more power to him. Shit. I bet that was a goal. He found him a golden goose, getting a paycheck to do jack shit. So you too, they're out there, right? You don't necessarily have to put it in gear and go. You can find jobs and fly below the radar. Now, did I think that hurt the whole company as a whole? Absolutely. Because what do you think happened the one time we asked Randy to help for like a day and actually do work? Y'all want to know what Randy did? Randy quit. We asked him to help in shipping for one day. And the next day, his card and his keys were laying right on the desk. Now, in my opinion, not only was that a huge waste of time, but if we had somebody in there that wanted to work, that could have turned into a valuable asset. But no. Management in that office didn't give a shit. So in the end, it ended up hurting everybody because then we had to train somebody else, and that's a whole nother story. But the gist of that story is you don't have to be a hard worker. You don't have to have work ethic. It's not required. None of that's required. There are jobs out there you ain't got to do jack shit and you will get a paycheck. Trucking ain't one of them. There's a lot of jobs where that's literally the only place I've ever been where that pathetic ass behavior was not only allowed but encouraged. But I'm sure there's plenty of other companies. So if you, like I said, if you don't want to work hard, you can find places where you can do that. You can still make your situation work. I was just thinking about it the other day, how much it would have benefited the company as a whole if we actually trained somebody for that year. You know what I mean? Or if we actually had somebody who wanted to learn for that whole year. And what an asset that would have been whenever all hell broke loose once we moved. But now, he was only making $10 an hour. So, in management's eyes, we're paying him to sleep. He changes 2 trash cans. Why not? But yeah, you don't necessarily need work ethic. It's not required. You can find you a job. But in order for that, you got to be honest with yourself. If you have no work ethic, if you're lazy, and there ain't nothing wrong with being lazy, right? You just got to be honest with yourself and you got to figure it out. And then pick a path where that works best for you. You might not make much in the long run, but you'll get a paycheck. So, I don't know, I was thinking about that today for some odd reason. Work ethic is not required to pay your bills, right? Work ethic is required to be better than normal, to achieve and take steps up from where you're at. If you're happy being stagnant, and if you're happy just doing the same thing and that paycheck never changing, you can find things like that. And he was completely content, and we were content with it too. Where's Randy? And everybody just look upstairs. But anyway, hope y'all are doing good. Figure I'd give you one of the millions of stories I got from that fucking shithole. And yeah, y'all have a good day. Be safe, be decent. Tiptoe 10-4, I'm gone. Come on. Y'all be safe.